Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're kicking off the new year with a deep dive into something that can cause a real headache for anyone working with databases.
Data inconsistencies.
You got it. Those pesky little discrepancies that can pop up when you least expect it.
Like when you're migrating data.
Exactly. Or even just syncing between different environments. It can lead to errors, downtime, even data loss.
Nightmare scenario.
Truly a nightmare. But don't worry, because today we're going to learn all about a tool that aims to make those issues a thing of the past.
The TiDB Sync-Diff Inspector.
That's the one. And don't let the name intimidate you. We're going to break it all down, make it super easy to understand. Plus, we'll even look at a real-world example to see how it all works in action.
It's actually a really handy tool, especially if you're working with databases like TiDB or MySQL.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is this TiDB Sync-Diff Inspector?
Well, imagine you have this super meticulous colleague, right?
Oh, got it.
And their only job is to compare your databases, to make absolutely sure that every single row and column matches up perfectly.
So it's like having a dedicated data quality control expert.
Precisely. That's essentially what the Sync-Diff Inspector does, but automatically. It digs deep, comparing not just the data itself, but also the entire structure of your databases.
So it's not just checking that the numbers match, it's checking that the whole framework is consistent.
You got it. It's like checking both the ingredients and the recipe to make sure your cake turns out perfect every single time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But I feel like a lot of tools out there claim to do that kind of comparison. What makes the Sync-Diff Inspector stand out from the crowd?
It's all in the details.
Mm.
See, this tool doesn't just tell you something is wrong. It tells you exactly where the discrepancies are.
Ooh, specific. I like it.
And the best part, it even generates the solutions for you. It creates these, well, think of them like instructions called SQL patch files that you can use to automatically fix those
It's
errors.
like a self-correcting spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly. And it's not limited to just one type of database either. It works with a whole bunch like TiDB, MySQL, even PostgreSQL. Pretty versatile, right?
So no more spending hours manually comparing spreadsheets. My eyes are already thanking you.
Think of all the time you'll save. Some studies have shown that using a tool like this can slash data reconciliation time by like 80%.
Okay, wow, that's a lot of time saved.
Yeah.
But let's get down to brass tacks here.
Yeah.
Can you give us a real-world example? Say I've got two TiDB servers, right?
Okay, I'm following.
And they have this table, but it's inconsistent. One server's got 8 rows of data, but the other one only has 2. How would our Sync-Diff Inspector step in to save the day?
It would immediately spot those missing 6 rows.
Oh.
No question. And then it would generate those SQL patch files we were talking about to bring that lagging server up to speed. Boom, problem solved.
It's like magic, but for data.
Data magic. I like that.
Data magic. Now, I gotta ask, are there any limitations? It can't be perfect, right?
Well, no tool is absolutely perfect, right? One thing is performance can take a hit if you're dealing with like massive, massive data sets.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else to watch out for?
Ah, yes. If you've got really complex queries or if the structure of your data changes while the comparison is running, it can throw things off a bit.
So a little finicky in those situations.
Sure.
Got it. Any tips for folks who are just getting started with the tool, like best practices?
Absolutely. First things first, always, always test it out in a safe environment before you unleash it on your live data.
Don't want any accidental mishaps. It's like a dress rehearsal before the main event.
Exactly. And to avoid those performance slowdowns, try running those comparisons during off-peak hours when your system isn't super busy.
Smart move. Less traffic, smoother ride.
And one last thing, those reports that the tool generates, they're your new best friend.
Treat them like gold.
Check them regularly. And if
Yeah.
you see any discrepancies, address them ASAP. Be proactive.
Don't let those little issues snowball into big problems.
You got it.
Okay, so to wrap it all up, the TiDB Sync-Diff Inspector sounds like a pretty amazing tool for anyone who working with multiple databases
Right. It can really simplify that whole data consistency thing.
and save you tons of time and headaches.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me wonder, with data integrity becoming more and more important,
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial these days.
right? So how do you think tools like this will shape the future of data management?
That's a great question. I mean, will they become as essential as, say, antivirus software? Just a standard part of how we approach data. It's definitely something to think about.
Definitely. So much to consider. And if you're intrigued by all this data wizardry and want to learn more about the TiDB Sync-Diff Inspector, we encourage you to do your own digging. You might be surprised at what you discover.
It's a fascinating tool.
Until next time, folks, happy data diving.